Afternoon, troops. This is Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. On reflection, I have decided to do a video. I wasn't going to because it's just too upsetting. But sometimes you got to put your head in the barrel of the cannon, and I think this is one of the times that we need to do that. Anyone that follows Veterans United Against Suicide from the beginning will understand that what we do is not enjoyable. We don't do it for personal accolade, even though some people seem to think we do. And we have saved many lives, as lots of other organisations have. However, at this moment in time, our losses are unbelievably high, and we're currently sitting on at 26. And I think Jim phoned me this morning saying it's 7 in 14 days. Now that's the highest number of losses that we've had since records began in the period of 2 weeks. So we're very concerned. And I've been scratching my head. Jim's been scratching his head. And Jules has been scratching her head thinking, you know, what are we doing wrong? Why is the message not getting out there? And I think the message is out there, but there's such a frustration with lack of activity from the government and from the charities that are at the top of the food chain, closing places down rather than opening places up to support the lads and lasses, that the frustration is mounting. You can throw COVID in there as well. That don't help the situation. However, as my top advisor has just said, I've been speaking to him from America, believe it or not, and he put a good point across, to be fair, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to say it because it's how I've been feeling for a long time. Someone out there knows someone who's on the brink. Now, be careful how I say this, because I know some of the families are going to not be happy about it, but it's not aimed at the families. You're not always going to see. You're not always going to see the signs. There's so many examples of that. And Jim and I have said on many occasions, you know, there are those that you'll never save because there's no signs and they just go out and that's that. End of story. It's very well organised, generally speaking. And they're determined, but you ain't going to know about it. But then there's the second category of people. And those are the ones that are crying out for help. There are signs, and there are only certain people that see those signs. I don't see them because I don't speak to them. But somebody does. A friend, a work colleague, a family member. Sometimes it's their wife, very rarely, to be honest with you, or just somebody close to them. Somebody from the brotherhood speaks to them. And we need to be alerted if you have any issues, any suspicions. There's plenty of numbers out there. PT Resolution is the one that we go to now because we find that they give the most prompt action. Help a Squad is another one. But someone has got to stick their hand up and prove and go, there is an issue with this person, in my opinion. And we've got to offer support to that person and guide them away from the brink. To do that will save a life. I spoke to a guy the other day who was broken-hearted because his friend had passed. And he said, I could see it, but I couldn't believe it. And I thought, no, he's stronger than that. You know, this bloke was a warrior. And I get that as well. But it's no shame, one, for you to go, I am struggling. I need assistance. We know it is difficult, and we know that the resources are not always available, but there's more resources out there than's currently being used. And if we can harness that information, that intel, and pass it in the right direction, we might just stem the tide a little bit. So I'm asking the families, I'm asking the friends, I'm asking, brothers and sisters, keep an eye on people. Look for signs of trauma, of them being withdrawn. Somebody who's far more qualified than me, and I'm not qualified at all, to be fair, said to me, there are signs. And in fact, if a person starts being a lot happier, all of a sudden, having been in the depths of despair, that is a warning order, because they've made their mind up what they're going to do, and that's it. They're happy now, right? I'll get my estate in order, and then I'm off. I'm off to the woods or whatever, and we've got to stop that. We have a duty to do it, and I think that's the message. What everyone's doing is fantastic, but it's not stopping people from doing it. We've got trivia going on, people saying, oh, don't use the word committed. Are you serious? I'm not worried what words are used. The bottom line is we're losing people. So all you do-gooders as well, go and do one. You're not helping the situation, you're making it worse. Don't say that, I've had criticism about myself, and that's fair enough. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, I get that. But don't say I'm negative, because I'm not negative. Oh, why does Jeff always get to quote in the papers? That's what somebody said to a reporter. It's got nothing to do with me. The guy asked me, I'll give him a quote. Why don't you come to me? Why don't you come to me? It's ridiculous. Grow up. Use that energy, all that nervous energy and all that jealousy in a positive way. We've got to save people. We should be doing it all together, all on the same side and pushing in the right direction. And that is not happening. So stop the bickering and the jealousy and the moaning and groaning, and let's be positive. You want to be positive? Let's see some positive then. Spot the guys who are struggling, spot the girls that are struggling, and let the people know at PT Resolution, at Helper Squaddy, and all the other ones at the top of the tree in regards to instant help. The last thing a person wants, and this is my final message really, this is an observation of nearly 5 years now. Most people have a problem at the weekend or in the evening. When are most of the organised charities and all the helplines closed? Guess what? In the evenings, not manned. Not all of them, but most of them are not. And weekends, and in fact bank holidays is always the worst. So somebody in government who's got one sense of humanity in them needs to be looking at this and sorting it out. We cannot afford to keep losing the numbers we're currently losing. It is an absolute national disgrace. And until somebody takes it seriously, we will continue losing the numbers that we are. And that's where it is. So look out, help, support, guide people in the right direction. And we might get somewhere. But cut the bickering out. Be positive, but supportive. Families. I've had a family, I've had a very good, not I would say he's a very good friend of mine, a man I've admired all my career, to be honest with you, contact me in a week. He's worried about his son. That's what needs to be happening. I'm worried about him, Jeff. Okay, right, there's my telephone number. Ask him to give me a call and I'll point him in the right direction. That's all I can do. Or print off the numbers that Jim's produced, PTSD resolution and the teams, and phone them up in your own time when you're ready to talk to them. But don't take your life. You're destroying your family's life. Somebody once said to me, you pass the burden on to those that are still alive, and that's really true. And that should not be your legacy, no matter how much pain you're in. That's Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. Okay? Try not to be negative. It's difficult. Am I angry? Yes, I am angry. There are people, I could talk all day about people that are not carrying out their duties and bullshitting the veterans community, but I'm not going to give them the pleasure of doing that. We need to pull together as one, or we're not helping the boys and girls. And it's clearly we're in the middle of a complete balls up. Jeff Williams, look after yourself. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you. Come on. Come on. Bye-bye.